Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Monica. Today we'll be discussing about tooth numbering system. So why do we require tooth numbering system? As dental professionals, it is very important to have a specific format or a standardized system so that communication is clear and precise in our day-to-day dental work. Whenever we need to document or discuss about any tooth involved in patient's dental chart, this tooth numbering system comes into play. Before we discuss various tooth numbering systems, let's take a moment to understand the basic foundation on which they are built upon. Human teeth, they are arranged in the jaws forming two dental arch. In the diagram we can see upper arch, it is the maxillary arch, lower arch is the mandibular arch. So each arch is going to be divided by an imaginary midline into right and left half, which are called as quadrants. So in total we have four quadrants. Quadrant number one is the maxillary right, quadrant number two is maxillary left, quadrant number three is mandibular left, quadrant number four is mandibular right. During entire lifetime, humans have two sets of teeth. Firstly, we have the primary or the deciduous teeth which appear in early childhood and then they shed off. They are total 20 in number. And we have permanent teeth which are 32 in number. Humans have four types of teeth, that is incisor, canine, premolar and molar, and each human tooth is represented by its initial letter of its name. That is incisor is represented by I, for canine we use C, for premolar P is used and for molar M is used. Dental formula represents the number and types of teeth in each quadrant of the mouth. So inside the moon bracket, we have the number of teeth in upper and lower arch of one side. Then it is multiplied by 2 to get the total number of teeth. So let's start with dental formula for primary dentition. So for primary dentition, incisor, we have 2 upper, 2 lower, canine, 1 upper, 1 lower, molar, 2 upper and 2 lower in 2. So in total we have 20 deciduous teeth since premolar is missing. So dental formula for permanent dentition. In incisor we have 2 upper, 2 lower, canine 1 upper, 1 lower, premolar 2 upper, 2 lower, molar 3 upper, 3 lower of one side multiplied by 2. So total we get 32. So let's discuss about the tooth numbering system. So three main tooth numbering systems which are used in our daily practice are: first one is the universal notation system, second one is the Zygmundi or the Palmer notation system, third one is the Federation Dentaire International. During tooth numbering, we use letters or numbers which represent each type of tooth, and it is placed either above the line for the maxillary teeth or below the line for the mandibular teeth. Let's talk about the universal notation system. This system was recommended by American Dental Association in 1968. In this system, we assign alphabets or numbers to represent each tooth in the dental arch. Universal notation system for the primary dentition. For primary teeth, as we can see in the diagram, we use letters starting from A and in continuation till T. For the upper right quadrant, we can see A represents the upper right primary second molar tooth, and when we go to the left till J, which represents the upper left primary second molar, then we continue to the lower arch which starts from K till T, which represents the lower right primary second molar tooth. For permanent teeth universal notation system, we number them from 1 till 32. As we can see in the diagram, it starts from upper right third molar represented by tooth number 1. Then as we move across the same arch to the left side, we can see that upper left third molar, it is represented by the number 16. Then we continue from the lower left third molar represented by tooth number 17 and end at the lower right third molar which is represented by tooth number 32. So advantages of universal notation system are firstly separate number, that is for permanent dentition, or alphabet for deciduous dentition is given for individual tooth, and also visualization is easy. Disadvantages of this system include first of all, it cannot be computer coded. It's also difficult to remember, and in comparison to other systems, specifically Palmer system, it is a bit more confusing, and it also does not consider the jaw quadrant clearly. Let's talk about the next system, that is Sigmondi or the Palmer notation system. This system was adopted in 1861 and was called the 8 numerical quadrant system, and it was developed for permanent dentition only. Later on, it was adopted for primary dentition in 1874. It is a symbolic system because it uses specific geometric symbols to represent each quadrant of the mouth. This system uses quadrant-based approach. In this, the horizontal line, it represents the quadrant side, and there is a vertical line which represents whether it is upper arch or whether it is lower arch. Palmer notation system for deciduous dentition. For primary teeth, we use letters A to E following the same quadrant symbols as discussed previously. So in the diagram, we can see for the right quadrant upper side, it starts from A, that is the primary central incisor, and it ends in E, that is the primary second molar. Palmer notation system for permanent dentition. In this, we use numbers 1 to 8 in each quadrant. The teeth are numbered starting from the center as seen in the diagram. We can see in upper right quadrant, we start from number 1, which represents the right maxillary central incisor, ending at number 8, which represents the right maxillary third molar. Similarly, other quadrants with their symbols use number 1 to 8 to represent each tooth. Advantages of this system is it is simple to use, it is less confusing as permanent and deciduous teeth are indicated differently. Disadvantages include there is no differentiation between right upper, right lower, left upper and left lower since the numbering is same. Only one number is used to designate a particular tooth, and there is also no provision for identification of supernumerary tooth. Verbal transmission is also difficult in this system. Let's talk about the last tooth numbering system, that is the Federation Dental International, known as the FDI tooth numbering system. The other name is ISO 3950 notation. It is a two-digit system and it was accepted by FDI in 1970 and adopted by WHO and International Association for Dental Research. In October 1994, it was adopted by the International Standard Organization. FDI for the primary dentition. For primary teeth, the first digit it represents the quadrant and the second digit represents the tooth position in the mouth. The mouth is going to be divided into four quadrants in which we use number 5 till 8 for representing each quadrant. 5 is upper right quadrant, 6 is upper left quadrant, 7 is lower left quadrant, 8 is lower right quadrant, and then we use number 1 till 5 to represent the tooth number. 1 meaning the primary central incisor and 5 meaning the primary second molar. FTI system for the permanent dentition, we use number 1 to 4 to represent the quadrant and number 1 to 8 to represent tooth. As we can see in the diagram, first digit 1 represents the upper right quadrant. Number 2 as the first digit represents the upper left quadrant. Number 3 as the first digit represents the lower left quadrant. And number 4 as the first digit represents the lower right quadrant. And number 1 as the second digit here represents the maxillary central incisor, and here it represents the maxillary third molar. Advantages of this system includes it's very simple, accurate, easy to memorize, and it is user friendly. It also can differentiate tooth of different quadrant, simple to teach and understand, simple in conversation and direction. It can be translated into computer input and it is readily communicable in print. Disadvantages of this system include it is slightly confusing in case of deciduous teeth representation, difficult to enter multiple teeth in different arches, and it's too long to use in routine practice. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.